from the soul with it. Yeah. So Golden State Warriors forward Draymond Green spoke with Sam Alipur of ESPN, the magazine, and somehow the Lakers came up in a discussion. Maybe he was asked who does he see on the Lakers' current roster that could be a co-star for LeBron James. But Draymond Green had very high praise for the Lakers forward Kuzma and stated that he thinks Kuzma could potentially be LeBron James' second star. So Draymond Green's exact quote was, "I think Brandon and Kuz will be really good. That second star could possibly be Kuz just because he fits better with LeBron. He can shoot, but both have the potential." So obviously I agree with Draymond Green. I do believe that both have the potential, and I have a ton of respect for Draymond as well. You know, he's the heartbeat of the Warriors, and he is really the leader of the team because he's just so vocal. Curry is much more quiet, so he leads by example. But there are a lot of people who criticize Draymond, you know, because he's very outspoken. But I have a lot of respect for people like Draymond, because if they have an issue with something, they address it. They don't, you know, go behind your back or go behind the person's back and, you know, disrespect them and smile in their face and then, you know, stab them in the back and all that. Like, that's the type of people I don't respect. But no, they so quick to criticize Draymond Green and they say, oh, well, put Draymond on another team like the Orlando Magic with less stars and see if he can impact them or make them better. I'd be like, I mean, these are casual basketball fans, so they don't study basketball. They don't even understand basketball. They just think with their emotions, you know. ESPN spread garbage like that, then the Masters repeat it. But, you know, everybody has a role in basketball, and that's why the Warriors are successful, because each individual player knows their role. Draymond Green can go to any team and make them better, first of all, spiritually. Then two, you know, his high elite level defense rubs off on other players. So, you know, you don't need him to score because you can get other scores. He could do so much more that probably won't even show up on the stat sheet, but he's very valuable to his team. But moving on, Kuzma is one of my favorite players on the Lakers right now. I just really love his confidence. You know, I got my Kuzma shirt. I ain't wore it in a while because I've been wearing my Kobe jersey. I stare at that jersey all day. Okay. Greatest player to ever breathe. But, you know, I agree with Draymond. Kuzma has that superstar potential, you know, that superstar appeal about him. It's going to take for him to have another huge game for people to remember the type of nights he had last season. Because sometimes you just got to remind people who you are. Like, you got to remind these people what you've done and what you can do. You know, he came into the season, he was just a rookie and averaged 16 points per game and was putting up big points. Kuzma he missed some preseason shots, but now people just starting to go overboard, overreacting. You got people saying, you know, he's a bench player, he needs to get traded and all that. Like, no, it's just preseason. But I do believe Kuzma and Ingram are going to have to step it up this season and prove that they could be elite caliber players. And, you know, I believe Ingram seems more like a Kawhi Leonard type of player, where he's more quiet, doesn't really say much, and just very reserved, you know, laid back. But as Draymond stated, Kuzma is a shooter, and LeBron loves being around shooters, which is why I believe Kuzma should be in the starting lineup. LeBron had Kyrie Irving, who could score at will, anywhere on the floor. Just a great scorer, period. J.R. Smith, he's a sniper. Kyle Korver, one of the greatest three-point shooters in history. Kevin Love became a spot-up shooter and, you know, was able to develop the three-pointer. And then Bosh became a spot-up shooter. I'm not sure if y'all watched the Orlando Magic during the 07-08 Dwight Howard run. You know, Rashard Lewis could shoot. And Rashard Lewis, remind you, he was on that Miami Heat team. LeBron James is a facilitator by nature, so he needs to be around shooters. It's just like Ben Simmons. Of course, LeBron is way better than Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons, I was watching Ben Simmons last night. Man, that man couldn't shoot a water gun if they gave him one. They put J.J. Redick around him. They put Robert Covington around him and others who can shoot. But in my opinion, I think Ben Simmons is really basic. You know, all he does is pass, dunk, pass, dunk, pass it, dunk, pass it, dunk, pass, dunk, pass, dunk, smile for the camera, cheese, pass, dunk, then pass, dunk, pass, dunk. Like, that's all he does. You know, he can't shoot threes or make shots from mid-range. And the Celtics understood that when they played him in the playoffs, all we got to do is worry about J.J. Redick and Covington, all these shooters coming off these screens. You know, let's make Ben Simmons shoot. And you can live with that. You have to live with that because, you know, he ain't been working on it during the summer because he still looked the same from last season. LeBron James had three-point shooters. He had shooters these past few years in Cleveland. And he doesn't have anyone in that starting lineup who could spot up shoot or could shoot consistently. But in my opinion, Kuzma looked drained. He looks very drained. He lost a lot of weight, it seems. And to me, it doesn't look natural. You know, he looked more natural last season. I think he needs to get back to his natural size. But I've listened to Kuzma interviews last year, and he talked about how he's worked on his ball handling skills and he's focused on defense. As I watched the preseason game, all his shots just seemed forced. Like he wanted to prove he could pick up where he left off last season. You didn't have to force it, you know. Like I watched Kyrie Irving last night. He went 0 for 8 last night in the first half versus the 76ers. And he just kept shooting, which is fine because that's what shooters do. They just keep shooting. Work from the inside, get to the line, you know, get you some easy buckets to build your confidence, then move it back out to the three. But in my opinion, Kyle Kuzma should be starting with LeBron James, even if you have Brandon Ingram starting as well, because Brandon Ingram give you that defense. You know, maybe he could start at shooting guard. You have, you know, Rajon Rondo in the starting lineup, so you'll have a lot of defense out there and keep JaVale McGee. I think that would be a great lineup. But, you know, like I said, I agree with Draymond Green. Kyle Kuzma has the attitude. Like, he has that attitude like, I know I'm great. I know I'm fly. You know how Russell Westbrook wear loud clothes to get all this attention and people talking about it, you know, on TNT, inside the game, and, you know, different places. And it's the same thing with Kuzma. He does the same thing. But Kuzma came in, rookie, average 16 points per game. People be like, oh, well, you know, he's going to be okay, but Brandon Ingram has a higher ceiling than Kuzma. He has a higher ceiling. Man, I don't want to hear that, bruh. Lil Wayne said no ceilings, okay? It's players that come into the NBA that have high ceilings, then those ceilings just collapse and fall right in. You know, they find themselves working at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffle. It's players like who's supposed to be the next MJ. Their ceiling was MJ, and they said they were supposed to be the next MJ. Players like Harold Miner, Penny Hardaway, etc. You can get anything can happen. Get injured. They don't take the game as serious. They get complacent. They're not as serious as the fans think they are. They never reach their full potential. You know, so it's just expect the unexpected. But anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. Y'all think Kuzma could be LeBron James' second superstar, or is it Brandon Ingram? Or hey, is it nobody? Like, you know, do the Lakers need to go out and get another superstar? Y'all let me know what y'all think. Y'all the voice. You know, y'all the only voice that matters at the end of the day. The Lakers fans run the NBA. That's a fact. Y'all get in that comment box, like, share, subscribe. I'm out. Okay.